This song is always such a banger, eh? What's up, everyone? A new day, a new life, another day of Elliott waves, right? It's all in the waves. I gotta say, I also really like this song as like an opening song. It's called Vega from Infraction. Got enough water. Water for days. Okay, welcome everyone. Great to have you here. We're gonna cover Elliott waves on the chart. Got a request, I believe, of doing the monthly chart, and we can be very quick with the monthly. But yeah, we can cover it shortly, and then jump into the weekly, and then the 4 hour, 1 hour, 15-minute. After, I'm gonna answer some questions as always before I eventually have to go. Now the plan is to, and this is how it usually goes, the plan is to be online for about an hour because busy agenda, busy week, and then of course the next update will be tonight. Now, one of the things that we are working on very hard to make sure it's finished soon. So let's give you a little bit of an update. First, say hi, by the way, and then I'll give you a small teaser and an update of what's happening in the background. Close the music. There we go. Done. Finished. Boom. Andrew, welcome. Serega, Gabriel, 56k first, then another low, and maybe the local bottom. 56. Yeah, as long as you don't take 57. Sibel, welcome. Bina, good to have you here. Alimo, welcome. Ganam. Let's go for my bullish and bearish Elliott wave scenarios for Bitcoin. Exactly. Hi everyone and welcome. Hi everyone, and let's go over my bullish and bearish Elliott wave scenarios on Bitcoin. Starting with the Adam, Newell, Davey. What's up, guys? Yuri, good to have you here. Nice bit of trading. Solid Fab, welcome. Sam, good to have you here. Welcome. Still have to reply to your email. I had a relaxed weekend in a way, taking a step down, doing some reading, studying. We went shopping, generally just being outside, enjoying life a little. But I saw your email, still have to reply there. Garlic powder, welcome. Yanis, Andrew, go, 52k tonight. Okay, Thomas, welcome. Pierre, good to have you here, man. Nice to see you pop in. Pierre, everyone, is an entrepreneur in France, living in Avignon. I had the honor of meeting him when I moved to France about just over a month ago. So, yeah, very, very, very nice. Family, dinner with his family and my wife in Avignon. Jaspreet, welcome. Bear, good to have you here, man. And some nice thoughts that you had about the volume profile. I replied earlier this morning. You are looking more French with the day. Merci, baguette. No worries, you will receive my thoughts. Okay. Cheers, Sam. I might have to wait for the second email with the thoughts. Bullish and bearish. No. Okay, guys, I have two updates, stuff that's happening in the background. First of all, the CVD indicator. Of course, one way is to just simply click the link in the description, the top one, and you can just get it for free. But some people said, yo, can we like pay you? I'm like, no, because I don't have that system yet. I only have it for free. But we're like working on it. I found a way to automate it where if then people would pay, they automatically get the correct role in Discord. But I'm not a coder, so it takes a little bit of time with the help of ChatGPT to set things up. So working on it. And second, which arguably is more exciting, is the Elliott wave PDF. I am currently checking the PDF first time after Jeroen made it, and this is what you have to think about. Now, this is a little teaser, an example. There's going to be, like, as mentioned, I already provided feedback on this. There is different, like, I would write things different, and some of the stars have to be different, but it gives you a general idea of how one page would look, for example. And if we would go to, let's say, page 8, I don't know what it is. Okay, double zigzag. You can see over here information about a double zigzag. And then let me give you another one here. Where do we go? Page 15. Barrier triangles, right? So yeah, information including stars, tips. So this is guidelines and tips, rules and whatever not. So I'm currently checking this document because Jeroen made it first. He is my employee and he has knowledge about Elliott waves. He watched my videos and he is learning. But I'm currently checking everything to make sure it's okay, and usually I have to rewrite a little bit or add a rule, remove something, check the guidelines, and then together we are making that document for you. So it will be incredibly complete, including volume extensions, the star rating as you've seen, rules, guidelines, tips. The 886 will get its own page. We will do a word explanation page, right? So what does it mean, right? Like what is X, what is Y, what is a motive, what's an impulse, what is correction, you know, like, I don't know, and other terminology. And we will have more pages of different stuff. I actually wrote it down. We will also have a page about channels, so base channel, trend channel, and the end channel. Right, so I still have to make a video about that, but we are going to include that in the document as well. And also would like to add a page where we rate all of the structures in common, uncommon, rare, or very rare, so that you know, like, okay, you know, I'm thinking about this structure, but is it actually a common structure, just in the general realm of Elliott waves, right? So, for example, the moment you think about an expanding diagonal, right? And you don't know, is this actually common or is this, like, what is this, right? You go to the document, you check page, whatever, we have to put it in somewhere. And then you see, okay, expanding diagonal, oh, very common. Okay. So I might actually have first, you know, I have to look for other structures first before considering an expanding diagonal, because it is, it's very rare. Did I say very common? Very rare. Maybe I did, I misspoke myself there. But an expanding structure, expanding diagonal, expanding triangle is very, very rare, never preferred unless all of the other stuff fails. Now that won't be text like in the document, that sentence, that quote. But yeah, so we're working on it, and it's coming, takes a lot of time. Jeroen is already working on it and now it is my turn to take action and give feedback on the pages, and then add a couple more pages, which he will do, and then check that, and then up, and then probably have it reviewed by a few people to get some additional feedback, and then open it up, and yeah, you know, it's going to be out there. So so yeah, very, very nice. So we're working on that. Thomas Becker, welcome. Rudy, Elliott wave enthusiast, just finished a tutorial on the Pillsbury attack. Chess. Ready for some cold and blue rational analysis. Interesting. Chess. Pillsbury attack chess. I'm not really a chess guy, gotta be honest. I can't play chess. But I mean, I've never tried. I don't know the rules and stuff, but maybe one day. Can we count it as a diagonal on the 15-minute? So, like, is that an option? Yes, but it's not yet the most likely option. You would still want to see a wave 4 and a 5, preferably, of course, wave 3 shorter than 1, but that's not an invalidation. But, and of course, in a diagonal, you either want 5, 3, 5, 3, 5, or 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Like zigzags in every wave, or impulse zigzag. So you gotta check the lower time frames as well. How can Elliott wave help me with that? I'm not sure what you mean. But Elliott waves is one of the best prediction strategies or tools, or whatever you like to call it, in the industry. It just takes a lot of time to master Elliott waves, which I suppose is also a reason for people to check the YouTube channel, because I provide bullish and bearish, highest probability scenarios, and people don't necessarily need to learn it all themselves, but it is recommended. Would this be more detailed than your guide videos? Is it more it's just different. Is it more detailed? I guess in a way, because we have the star rating, but in videos I talk about this is common, that's rare. So I guess in a way it is similar but different. It will have some information not in the videos, but it will also have similar information compared to the videos. So it's but it's nice to have a PDF. And I already got a question to make it an Amazon Kindle thing as well from someone, because apparently it's a different format or different document type. I don't know. Never downloaded a Kindle something. So descending parallel channel on Bitcoin, if you connect the low, we're going to check it. What do you think if the current move down is a B of a flat? In that case, it needs to go lower. Take the low, go to 67 and then 43. Blaster, I like your way of thinking. I first want to hit the 0.9 and then we can talk. Okay. What's up, Ganam? Maybe a Band-Aid, of course. Welcome. Hunter, good to have you here. Okay, let's start. Adam, by the way, welcome. Let's go. So I had a question about the monthly time frame. Now we can be very, very fast with the monthly. First of all, I have to go to another chart, by the way. Let me go to the monthly. Did I do it on index? I think so, no? Yeah. So on a monthly time frame, we can be very, very quick, because there is so many scenarios and it changes so slowly that it doesn't really make much sense to look at the monthly time frame. The only thing people generally, some people will get ads now, so let me wait with the analysis before they're back. I just saw the notification. But the problem is, like, what people of course love to hear is, oh, we go to 12 million Bitcoin per Bitcoin, right? Like basically the question is, are we going to go into like a big ass bull market after this range, or do we go down to below 15K? Now, the issue with the monthly time frame is it takes so long to change probabilities for scenarios that it is much better to stick around on a weekly, daily, 4-hour time frame if you want to swing trade. This is more like for investments. Right, like if you're very, very, very long term, but nonetheless, we're gonna show you some of these scenarios. Let me actually do this here. Also, with the light coming into the room, my screen is a little bit like how do you call it? Reflective. But okay, we're starting now. 19 minutes. So on the monthly time frame, right? There's different scenarios. First of all, your absolute most bullish scenario out there is, of course, a multi 1-2, right? So you have your 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, another 1-2, and you just keep building 1-2s till one day you get your big wave 3. And of course, in this case, you're going to be talking about Elliott wave degrees. You're going to have the cycle, and then 1 degree lower, 1 lower, 1 lower, 1 lower, 1 lower, and boom, right? Now, in this case, what we are looking for as the conservative scenario in this total structure is that we are looking for another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave in a white wave 1, bear market in 2, and then a move towards the upside. Of course, your not conservative scenario is that you are now starting a wave 3, right? So you are now in a 1, 2, 1, 2 locally, and you start 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, meaning that after you finish this, you finish your blue 3, and then you go into your blue 4. And in that case, yes, your prices for your blue 3 are, they're going to be 300, 400 K, whatever. We just take it step by step. It doesn't make any sense to talk about those type of targets at the moment because you're at 55K. So if you do move towards the upside, you have a double 1-2, you look for high 3. In that case, you're going to create 4s. Now, because the wave 2s here are relatively short and deep, one can expect the wave 4s to be long and sideways, which basically means that the time it took, just if you look at this, right? So the time it took from, let's say, the low to the last wave 2 was, it doesn't give me years, of course, was, let's see, 2009, and the low here was 2022. So that is 13 years, right? Plus minus 13 years. And the wave 2s are usually about 1 year in time, 2017, 2018, here, November 2021, 2022. So the corrections here are about like 1 year. Now, if you do move up, minimum 1 year, but commonly longer, right? A wave 4 can easily be 2 years or 3 years of sideways price action before then the next impulse up. Now, mind you, this wave 4 is going to be a big range, right? So trade the range until it breaks pretty much. But then you eventually expect a 5 of blue. And then you finish your green 3 and you go into an even bigger green 4, right? So of course your earnings potential here is going to be quote unquote less because your impulses up are going to be 5s, not 3s, right? So your biggest move is then finished and you're going to move in 5, 4, 5, like, you know, that, and then eventually you get your big move towards the downside. Now this is the most bullish scenario, right? Which at the moment, as beautiful as it sounds, is the non-conservative target or scenario and not the highest probability. And it doesn't have the highest probability because at the moment it simply doesn't make really sense to talk about it. I do recommend checking out Green Star Trading. I do think he is, besides I love his personality because he's fucking direct and I love that, I'm Dutch. But he analyzes the high time frames very accurately with all sorts of like different tools and strategies and cycles and that sort of stuff. So, you know, it's a nice watch, nice view. But I prefer to be conservative, right? So he, based on the cycles and the analysis, is talking also about like, you know, high targets. Absolutely possible, right? Absolutely possible. I love the guy, absolutely possible. But I do prefer a more conservative approach. And in both of the cases, if you look for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you look for all-time high. And if you look for a double 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then a bigger 3, you also look for all-time high. So in both cases, you look for upside. In both cases, you look for all-time high. And then what happens after you take all-time high, that is what's going to make the difference between finishing a 1 and bear market 2 or continuation to the upside in a much bigger 3, right? That is where the difference is. That's where the difference is. Because in a bigger 3, you want to move up impulsively, increase the volume, short ranges up, short up, short up, short up, right? And if you finish away from the bigger range with bearish CVD and all that sort of stuff, weakness, and then eventually ta-ta-ta, and then you go up, right? So you go sideways for a much longer period of time. Basically, when you move up after 2 wave 2s, yeah, you might want to see another 3rd wave 2, but you don't want to see ranges that are much longer anymore than what you had over here. Right, but in a bearish scenario, that's exactly what you're going to be looking for. So, yeah, that is your most bullish scenario. Now, with regards to the conservative scenario, where you look for a wave 1, time-wise, if we compare the previous bull markets with one another, for the people that just joined, we're on a monthly time frame, right? So, if you compare the previous bull markets with the current bull market, right, then you can see that the green wave 1 in time is actually a little bit shorter than the yellow wave 1. In other words, green wave 1, 0.786, right, did not reach the 1-to-1, shorter than the bull market in yellow. However, the blue bull market here was exactly the same amount of time, all-time high on top of the 1-to-1 trend-based fib time, taken from the low to the high to the low, exactly the same amount of time as the green wave 1. Now, with that in mind, right, if we would look for another wave 1, right, then having an eye on the 786 and the 121 is interesting, which gives you a time target between March 2025 and October 2025 for the end of your white wave 1. If we then also include a price, then you can see that the recent bull market hit the 0.618 trend-based fib extension taken from the low to the high to the low here of green, right? Now, naturally, right, and also, by the way, you can clearly see it. I don't even have to measure it. This green wave 1 is, of course, shorter than your yellow wave 1. Also, on the log scale, fibs are on log, right? So basically, this one is shorter than yellow. Blue is shorter than green. Of course, once you do move in a wave 3, once that moment happens, you're going to get a longer structure, right? Which is going to be longer than the 1-to-1 likely trend-based fib. But currently, this shorter than this shorter than this in price. So naturally, your target, 618, 786 on the chart, right? Preferably below the 1-to-1. 100K to 180K between March and October. Interesting, interesting indeed. Invalidation 15K. And then to make this target a little bit bigger, because now you can see I've added something, right? The 1.236 and the 0.618 here, right? These are wave 5 targets. So if you would calculate 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? Then your common target for a wave 5 is between 81K and 130K. That is your common target for your wave 5. Right? So interesting. Important area on the chart for Bitty. Now, after your wave 1, you look for a wave 2. And wave 2, of course, has to be a 3-wave, a corrective structure, preferably deep, just like all the other corrections we had on the monthly. Sharp, deep, short. Common target 05618. And the reason for that is if you look at previous bear markets, this wave 2 did not even reach the 236. This one hit the 382. This one hit the 0.5. So naturally, if we look for another 2, we would look for the 05 to the 618. Now, depending on how high your 1 goes, this target, of course, is moving around, right? So currently, the is your minimum retracement target, a fib taken from the low to the 786, right? 176K, which would be your maximum target based on this target here. So 52.4 would be your minimum retracement target in this case on the logarithmic scale, right? And then 30K 618 would be your absolute maximum. Now that is all bullish. Wait, I have something. This is what is this one again? I have the 0.5. Oh yeah. Let me do that here as well. Want to explain this? Up. So let's compare, right? So you see 2 red lines on the chart. Remember, this is your time target for a next wave 1. Bull market. Now you see 2 red lines, the 05 here and the 05 here. It's just for the sake of comparison. When we passed the 50% line, the previous bull market, price was at 8.8K. After that, price moved up to eventually 69K, right? So that means that after 50% of the bull market, you moved up 600%. And that is between the 05 and the 1-to-1. Now, we went sideways for a few months and then poof. 05, 1-to-1. Right? We are currently here. couple of candles, question mark, no? Question mark. Do you again get a bigger push to the upside? And if so, then yeah, you might be looking for a wave 3 to the upside after a 1-2-1-2, where you're going to be looking for 400% upside is still going to be 300K, no? So just an interesting comparison here, looking at that 0.5 from a time perspective. So we still have time, right, to reach the 1-to-1 October 2025 compared to the previous bull market. This here was in a very short period. I mean, look at this range, how long this is, and then boom, right? Never looked back. Interesting. But then again, preferably conservative over being way too excited. Let's see what I have here. Oh yeah. Bearish scenarios, because you always need bearish scenarios as an analyst. I will get to the questions after the analysis. But you always need bearish scenarios. So here is your bearish scenario number 1, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So wave 5 is very long in time compared to your wave 1, as you can see. Now this is a monthly chart, so time and retracements are not always similar compared to lower time frames, because usually in an impulse, wave 3 would be your extended wave. In this case, it's wave 1, which is less common, but still an option, right? And because wave 1 is extended, right, you get a shorter wave 3 and a shorter wave 5 compared to your wave 1. But in this case, then your target area would be 91K to 157K, invalidation 371K, right? And then you look for a bigger retracement. So in other words, you're still looking for an impulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So also here, and you got to look at the confluence between scenarios. Even in that bearish scenario, and also the 2 bullish scenarios, you take out all-time high. And then we see what happens next, right? Instead of being way too excited, having our pink glasses on, right? I was there in this bull market. I know exactly what happened in this bull market when we were pumping here, right? I think I may have said this last time, but when price was pumping here, if you were in the market during this time here, right, you know that every motherfucking moon boy was on CNBC talking about targets of 500K, 1 million, 2 million Bitcoin by the end of the cycle. And all them moonies, right, got absolutely wrecked, right? Beautiful. The problem is that left, right, and center, when this happens, everyone, right, is so excited they do not look at the risk anymore. They only look up, right? They're like, oh, we will never come down again. We always go up. 100K next, 500K next. Listening to the Moonies talking about 1 million next, right? And then retracement. Oh yeah, no problem happens. Goes to 69K, back again, hey, you know, and then boom, 15K next, right? Everyone wrecked, everyone losing, everyone thinks, oh, Bitcoin is dead, Bitcoin la di la. It's the typical, please don't fall for that, right? So if price would pump and you get similar structure to here, risk manage your positions, right? Take profits, reinvest, like whatever you do, whatever your plan is, but have a plan, you know, have a plan. Don't be one of those people that has like the pink glasses on, like at the beginning when once you saw your maybe for the husband and wives here, once you saw your husband or your wife at the very beginning, you start a relationship or you have a girlfriend or maybe you're single, but whatever you're dating, at the beginning you have like the pink cloud, right? Pink glasses, everything is beautiful, like la di la, and then later reality kicks in. Not that things go bad, you know what I mean? You want to maintain it, but you also experience. Sometimes you'll have a discussion, right? Sometimes you got to make important decisions and that someone might not be happy, whatever it is. But don't be the one, a big problem. Second bearish scenario, by the way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 finished, ABC down or WXY. Minimum target would be 30K. In this case, we basically, of course, we want to move down. As simple as that. So yeah, based on probabilities still higher on the monthly to take out all-time high, right? Looking for a 5-wave structure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, consider the double 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 for then a 3 up. We gotta wait and see what price does once you actually take all-time high. No. So I donated, and after that I got banned. Look, this is the second time. I don't know what happens with you and the mods at the moment, but if the mods please want to communicate if they ban anyone, that would be good. Second, I don't think any mod bans anyone without me double checking, unless it is a clear scammer. So I don't think you I got I don't know what's happening. Now, I don't think there's any problem with the mods. I think it's YouTube with the banned word list or something. Because mods are never banning anyone. They are not banning anyone without my consent. Especially not if you continue like this, I'm gonna ban you as well, because anything that has to do with racism is not something that happens in my chat, right? So this is not acceptable. So I don't care about what's happening. Like, of course I care about what's happening, but I don't want to see messages like this. Right? We respect everyone, any ethnicity, any background, any whatever. I don't care where you're from. As long as you enjoy yourself and you behave nicely, you're absolutely welcome. So I don't like, if I see donations coming in, I see them in the chat. Step 1, and I have not seen anything, also not today. So look, mate, I have no idea, but just send an email and instead of on stream. So the mods are also not banning anyone without my consent. So I don't know what the problem is, but it's not something to discuss on a live stream, so you can send me an email. Anyway, then you leave. Simple as that. So on the weekly time frame, currently the highest probability, let me also include the weekly scenarios here. 1 second. I'm gonna actually include the most bullish. We're gonna include this one, yep. I want to include these, so I'm just messing around with my folders here. Gonna include the daily time frame, daily bear, daily bull. Gonna include these. This is gonna be a very complete live stream, so it will be a bit of a longer analysis. I'm gonna include the channels. These are weekly channels, so we put them there. Okay. Yeah, I know. Maybe a band-aid, but that is of course by itself no problem. You know, like news travels fast. So in the past, I was on television a lot, and yeah, so for positives because of my business helping parents with gaming children. So that is no problem. Maybe a band-aid. That's no problem. You know? But I can't imagine that he is banned, like, because I would have seen it. And no one bans anyone here without consent, especially not members. So yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but I have a feeling it has to do with the YouTube banned word comments. Anyway, so on the weekly time frame, The bullish scenario is a 5-wave impulse, right? This is your conservative scenario, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Common target for 4, 57.1, 42.8, right? And then the 618, 37.7 is your invalidation. Target for 5 is 81.3 to 129K, okay? Again, this is your conservative bullish scenario. Currently, your higher probability scenario, simply because we like to be conservative. Risk management is number 1. This is your not conservative scenario, 1, 2, 1, 2. In this case, your wave 2s can be deep, right? So the 382 is still shallow for a wave 2. I actually think I put these on non-lock, yeah. So the 382 here, of course, barely touched. I think maybe missed by a few dollars. But your common target for a wave 2 is usually deeper than the 382, but in a very big bull market or in very bullish scenarios, the 382 can offer support. So that's why it is a level to keep in mind. And then you also look for the all-time high to be taken, but in this case, you want continuation. All right, so as mentioned on here, and then weakness and da. Right, you want to see up, small range, up, small range, up, small range, up, right? That you want to see continuation. Yeah? So you also see a quote here, which comes from Elliott Wave International. Alternation within an impulse can be summarized by saying that one of the two corrections will contain a move back to or beyond the end of the preceding impulse and the other will not. Now, mind you, that in 78% of the cases, if wave 2 is sideways, wave 4, if we are looking at the other impulse, wave 4 has a 78% chance of also being sideways. If wave 2 is sideways, probabilities are high. Wave 4 is also sideways in 78% of the cases. In this case, we would label this sideways. And based on what Elliott Wave International writes here, this would also be labeled sideways. And that is because of the retracement back towards the high. Here we took the high, and here we touched the 886, right? So here you can say that one of the two corrections will contain a move back to or beyond the end of the preceding impulse, and the other will not. Talking about alternation, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Generally, wave 4 moves back to the high of wave 3. Or takes the high. While generally in a wave 2, you get a deep correction like an ABC zigzag, but wave B in that case doesn't go all the way back to the high, right? Which in this case happened, and also here, right, we got very close to that high. So that therefore is something to consider. Actually, so that is beneficial for probabilities of a double 1, 2, but this is currently your highest probability scenario. Now when we look at the base channel, this is a base channel taken from the low to 30K. And you want wave 3 to break out, wave 4 to come back, and then you look for a wave 5 to the upside. Now, the moment price hits the lower trend line of the base channel, the probabilities go down to call this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Probabilities increase for bearish scenarios or 1, 2, 1, 2, continuation up in a wave 3. Currently, the low of this trend line here this week is sitting at about 45K. Here, first time 30K to all-time high to the low at about 25K. You want wave 4 to break the trend channel, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You want the wave 4 to break the trend channel, which happened, as you can see, right? And then you would look for a wave 5 afterwards, of course. It seems like Hartman. I have no idea what's happening, but this bullshit here. Look, you want to think like you think I'm scamming? Then cool, just write me an email. You know, I have no time for this bullshit. If you've been here for a longer period of time, just fuck off. Where's Hartman? Hartman, you go out as well. So there you go, my friend. I have no time for all this bullshit. All right, so that is a ban. Now there you go. So fuck off. You know, you can go somewhere else. If people have problems, write me by email. But never in my life would I ever do something like that. Absolutely nuts. This guy, what a crazy dude. So anyway, monthly chart. We have hit important support here on the chart, right? This is your support at 30K. This is at about 50K. Now on the monthly time frame, this support is actually nicely respected, both from a resistance and support point of view. Resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, resistance, support. So this is an important level on the chart. And the one below here, you can see support, arguably support. I mean, we just missed out. Here, of course, we failed, resistance, and then we broke through. Now, what you don't want to see, of course, on the chart is something like this, where you break this, retest, and then change the structure, increases probabilities to move to the low. No? That is something you don't want to see. Same here. This is a weekly time frame value area. Again, very important support is hit. Preferably you hold that support for the bulls, of course. Volume profile here, taken from the 28th of December to the 9th of May on the Coinbase chart, gives you the levels as seen on the chart. And these levels also, again, nicely respected, as you can see. We wicked into the value area high at 49.5K, and so far, at least, holding as support. Right? So also there, you can lose the low here, right? You can wick into 45. What you don't want to see is lose it, retest, and then break. That is something you don't want to see. Okay, and now we then get to the bullish scenarios on the daily, where the low is not taken, right? So first the scenarios where the low is not taken. First, a very simple ABC finished. And now you look for a big diagonal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, retracement, continuation. In this case, we would continue this range here, probably till like the end of the year, like end of November, right? It's going to take a while. It's going to take a while. Because looking for then a wave 3 and then a 4 and then a 5, right? It's going to take 2 months, 3 months before you're at the end of 5, and then you get a retracement for wave 2. Wave 2, of course, generally sharp and deep, but you basically range up and then range down again, and then you continue towards the upside. The problem with the diagonal, however, is that it is so early to talk about diagonals. If you look for wave 3, so far only wave 2 would be finished. Preferably you start looking at a diagonal when wave 4 is finished. We're not having a wave 4 at the moment. We would still need a wave 3. So yeah, there you go. We still need price to move down in wave 4. And then we can talk in more detail about a diagonal. Your second bullish scenario is a continuation of the range W, X, and then a wave Y, which is a sideways triangle structure. A, B, C, D, and then a wave E. Also here, same problem. Preferably you wait for wave D to be in before talking about a scenario like this. So we can't yet give the triangle the highest probability. Neither can we give a diagonal the highest probability, right? Because it's too early. It is too early to talk about these scenarios. Then you have the scenarios where you do take the low, which is, again, like WXY, take the low and up. It doesn't really matter. Your bearish scenarios are basically take out the low. So that's that. If we then go to the 4 hour, and now we are slowly wrapping things up. So we are zooming in, zooming in, zooming in, zooming in. If this is your low and you look for upside, we want to count one of 3 structures, right? I mentioned this in the morning update as well. Impulse, diagonal, or a double 1-2. Impulse is a 5-wave structure, 4 and 1, not allowed to overlap. A lot of overlap here, so we cannot count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 1, 2, and then continuation. Problem is, your wave 2 is 8 times longer than your wave 1, right? Which means low probabilities for this to be a wave 1 and all of this to be a wave 2. So, impulse, low probabilities. Diagonal, well, I just showed the diagonal, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have double 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, well, we took the low, so that is invalidated. So the highest probability would be a diagonal. The problem is your diagonal is still very, very early to call, right? So it's difficult to be very bullish on a daily and a 4-hour time frame. Doesn't mean you can't go up, but that is analysis for the 1 hour, right? So now let's go to the 1 hour. And on the 1 hour time frame, your most bearish scenario is a wave 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and you want to see a move down. For the bulls, it is very important to take 57K. Take 57K, preferably before making another low. Any probabilities increase to look for a bigger move towards the upside. Now, we can't immediately switch bullish, but at least it keeps the bulls alive, right? And the reason that it keeps the bulls alive is because if you take 57K first before taking the high, or the low, sorry, then the probabilities increase. This is a 3-wave structure, which therefore increases the probabilities to go sideways or at least have the possibility of a bigger diagonal. All right? So it keeps the scenarios for the bulls alive. The triangle scenario, right, remains an option. And if you do move up, the bigger diagonal remains an option. If you, however, move to the downside first, so 57K for the bulls is very important. Now, your common target for 2 is on the chart. This is your final wave 2, 618,786, 886, 56.4K. You don't want to see it hit, taken from the high to the low of 1, right? And the moment 56.4 is hit, the probabilities are low to label this a wave 2. For the bulls, finish WXY and you look for upside, right? So in this case, you would then look for either a double 1, 2 here or other structures, but you can count this then 1, 2, maybe another 1, 2 up. Preferably you don't move down below this low here at 53.5, right? And of course, take 57K. that is your important scenario. 15 minutes and then we wrap things up. On Saturday, this was my squiggly line. This was the analysis done on Saturday. Make sure to check out the live stream on Saturday. Price was, I don't know, was somewhere over here. And we were live in the evening. And based on the analysis, of course, with a little bit of Elliott waves knowledge as well, but also traditional TA, preferably we moved up to this box, then move down, and then see a move up. We actually moved to the point of control first, arguably your best support, moved to the upside, hit resistance, then to the box, and then we moved up. I mean, it works. No, it works. From an Elliott wave point of view, both in an impulse as well as in a bearish scenario, you preferably label it A, B, C, WXY, or 1, 2, and then wave 3. Of course, a double 1, 2 is also still on the cards. But for the bearish scenarios, your common target is actually the 1 to the 1.236, which is for wave C as well as wave Y, your generally common target. And for wave 3, of course, one continuation, potential still for a double 1, 2. If you take this low, though, probabilities increase to take this low, increase to take 49K. So, yeah, this is very messy price action here locally. So that's why I prefer to zoom out. We are now, however, at resistance, clearly at resistance here, right? Of course, the most interesting area to look for upside was when we hit support. We had bullish CVDs here. These have played out. We had bullish CVDs here, also played out. And we had bullish CVDs here locally. Now, arguably, this was the best, most secure, I suppose. The highest probability long entry was here from a CVD perspective, at least. Now we are at resistance. Of course, that means you need to now flip resistance into support for price to continue towards the upside. Resistance to the upside, weekly naked point of control 56.5 is your first. Support to the downside, daily naked point of control 54.4K. And there you go. Probabilities on the monthly, all-time high. Probabilities on the weekly, also still higher for impulsive structures, right? Looking for 4, 5. So still looking for higher. On a daily time frame, because it is too early for a triangle as well as the leading diagonal, it is difficult to give the highest probabilities to those two structures. So the high to take 49K. Which is true, but which is true until you hit 57k. The moment you would hit 57k here, the probabilities on the daily switch back to neutral. And on a 4-hour time frame, it's the same as the daily. On the 1 hour, it's, look for 57k or price to take 53.6. 57k increases probabilities for price to move up. And yeah, 15-minute probabilities played out because we videoed this morning. Probabilities were higher to take the high. That happened. So we good, So we good. So, there you go. That's the analysis. Let me put it... Elliott wave analysis. When did we start? We started at... 16 minutes or something. I guess around 16, maybe earlier, but I'm not sure. Or 18. I don't know. When did we start? We started when we were talking about somewhere here. Oh, really? Is there buffering going on? I don't know. Maybe it's the Wi-Fi, which should be strong though. Timestamps. Let me see. So we started somewhere here around, I guess, 250, which is 38 minutes ago, which on stream time is about 20 minutes in. So I guess we started at like 90 minutes. Now chatting and Q&A. There we go. Thank you, Odin. Maybe a band-aid. You're doing great stuff, guys. And I don't know if Jeroen or others are here, but appreciate it, guys. Remove the scammers and the bitches. All streams on Sun. Band-aid, yo. Cheers. Thanks for the gift. Appreciate it, man. Power Meet. Make sure. I mean, you know how it works, Power Meet. You've been gifted bronze or been in the memberships more often in the past. So, but make sure to fill in the form here, and we will get you sorted. By the way, welcome, of course, John, Holo Crypto, Power Meet. What's up? Hopefully the buffering is okay. I don't know why it may buffer today. I do have quite some tabs open today, and some stuff going on my laptop, so that might be the issue. $69, funny psychological number to be the top. So when we took the all-time high on and the move up from 30k was on such low volume, I didn't trust it. I didn't trust it. But you like the moment you take all-time high 65k, you're not going to be immediately like, bearish, 15k next. But the moment you see weakness and you fall back below 65, that's not comfy, no? Okay. Did you also think the price action since March is the hardest in Bitcoin history? No, it's just a range. It's typical for price to have sideways structures that can be complex. You just gotta make sure you have, of course, a clear plan, because this is the price section that fucks people up, But I don't think it was very hard to count. Actually, you wanna pick the time frames that are easy. So if you are counting Elliott waves and on a daily you're confused, but on a 1 hour you have clarity, trade the 1 hour, right? If you have no idea what's going on a 4-hour time frame, but you have clarity on the weekly, stay around on the weekly, right? If you know very well what's going on a 15-minute, but not on the 4 hours, stay on the 15. So you want to pick the time frames that work for you. Yeah. When looking at CVDs on different time frames, you have sometimes bullish CVD on the 4 and bearish on shorter. Shorter time frames always priority. The lower time frame CVD is always priority. Yeah. And then once the 15-minute time frame and then slowly the 1 hour also becomes bullish, that is when the 4-hour bullish CVD can get, like, quote unquote activated. That's when the probabilities would increase. But CVD on the lower time frames is always priority. And at the moment, we of course had bullish CVD here, we had bullish CVD here, bullish CVD here as well. So that's nice, right? That's good to see. And what we also have is, of course, we should not forget, we do have bullish CVD here, and the target for that CVD is 65K. So yeah, we built a little bit of bullish CVDs here and bullish CVDs here, and on the low time frame some more bullish CVD. And of course that like is interesting, because here we still have this bullish CVD, but we want this continue, right? We want to pass this resistance, hit 57, probabilities increase to look for bigger moves up, right? And preferably then with continuous bullish CVD. But this is where here price moved down with bearish CVDs all the time, so these have priority. But now we started ranging with bullish CVDs, and the first CVD that's not too interesting, right? You can have a bullish CVD here, and you can have a bullish CVD here, and one here, and it's not interesting. We want to see it compound. So okay, bullish CVD played out up, you get consistent CVD, so it shows there's consistent absorption of market shorts. But of course, by now you're at resistance. So if one is not yet positioned, I mean, I don't know, depends on your plan and strategy, but currently you're at resistance, not at support. Support was down here. Zoltan, yeah, cheers, guys. Oh, really? Make sure to translate it. Yesterday was the altcoin stream, which is typically on Sundays, yes. Where the trolls, oh yeah, you know, you have them trolls and the sad people and the scammers, and you know, you have those people on the internet, so you just ignore them. You know, people shouldn't really care about them, and neither do we. All we need to is reach 65.95 within the December. Olivier Perot, 85.95K within December 2025. Yeah, well, preferably October 2025. What are the probabilities? At the moment, the probabilities are still higher for price to take all-time high, and 85K is not too far away. I mean, all-time high is 73. If you take 73, 85 is quote-unquote only 13K above. From 55 to 73 is a bigger gap to fill than from 73 to 85. So if you take all-time high, you're actually quite close. What are the probabilities? At the moment, probabilities are high to look for your 5, and 81K would be a minimum target. So yeah, they're higher for the bulls. To which lowest time frame do you recommend to go as a starter in Elliott waves? If you're starting 1 hour, preferably stay active on a 4-hour to 1 hour time frame or higher. And the moment, like the thing is, if you want to have like a lot of practice, go to a 15-minute time frame, or maybe even lower, but not to trade, only to practice counting, because you will be counting, because low time frames change so much that you have to constantly go back to the rules. So it's very good for like fast learning, quote unquote, but you don't want to trade it, especially not in the beginning, because it's very unlikely you know exactly what's going on these time frames, and they tend to be messy as well. Any alternative update to get a CVD template? Mentioned it at the very beginning of the stream, but still working on the automate. I want to automate it. The thing is, I don't want to publish the CVD template and then not have an administration thing in the background, because then I have to do the administration myself or Jeroen, which is gonna kill time, and that's not what I'm looking for. So I want to automate it. I don't want to have someone preferably also immediately automated in Discord, so that people in Discord immediately get the correct rule. So Yeah. Yo, Bear Bit, how you doing, man? How you doing? Yeah, exactly. Can we see Bitcoin break 100K in under 4 years' time? Yes. Carl, hello, hello. Is it possible that wave C was the COVID low in March 2020 and that impulse wave 5 ended April 2021 instead of November 2021? Oh, you're talking about 65K compared to 69K in that case. And wave C, okay, so in that case, the COVID low is labeled a wave C, but then you have, are you talking about a running structure? Because the COVID low, of course, is a wave C, but it can be wave C of a zigzag or a WXY wave C. I'm not sure if you talk about the bear market ended at the COVID low, but by all means, doesn't really matter. Can you have 65K as the end of the bull market, and then 69K would be, of course, a flat target? The answer to that question, of course, would be yes. If you would scrap out the COVID low as a wave 2 and make it a bear market end, of course, it would work better. But basically what you're doing is you remove wave 1 and 2, and you're removing wave 4 and 5, and your wave 3 is your impulse. So that's what you're basically doing. And by now, it actually doesn't, at the moment, it doesn't actually matter if you end at 65 or 69 and then 15 it doesn't matter which one you pick. Doesn't matter for wave 4, doesn't matter for the targets, doesn't matter for local scenarios. You can pick 65 or 69. Yeah. Is it possible to count current move as B wave in respect to 59.8 on the 4-hour, 1-hour time frame? 59.8. A B wave. I would not look at this as an A, this a B, and then a C down. So that would be no. You also can't really start counting this as a wave A. If you want to count a wave A that ends here and then B, you need to do this. Unless you look for a WXY, which is WX and then ABC. But that's not a scenario I'm looking for at the moment. In that case, you would need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but you can't count a 1, 2, 3 in here. So if you, of course, pass this resistance, the probabilities also go up to take 57K, together with the bullish CVDs we have over here. It's not looking too weak, right? As long as you keep bullish market structure, we might actually see 57K taken today by this time. Let me check the CVD here. Yeah, again, more bullish CVDs also played out. And now we do not have any bullish CVD. So I'm not interested anymore in like CVD divergences that are like with pivots on the left. I would always keep an eye on what's happening locally, you know. So I do like CVD. But again, if not positioned, you're literally hugging resistance now. So bullish CVDs played out. But yeah. If you take 57, probabilities increase for a bigger retracement. And so far, there is the potential at least for continuation here. Gotta pass the resistance though. Weekly, where was the weekly naked? 56.5. But if you go that high, it's likely you take out the high there. 56, yeah. Because you also hit the 886. So then the bearish scenario on the 1 hour lowers in probabilities, increasing probabilities to take out this high though. Is the CVD on Discord? Yeah, it's I think like one of the first links in the description, I think. Is it possible? How's everyone? Can it count as a complete WXY from the top to the low? Yes. You can have W here or W here. I just prefer to have W here because if this is a wave C, it's a diagonal and it's a very, very short wave C. Didn't even hit the rare target. So yes, and this then also gives you wave C and wave Y target hit. And also the final support that I had on the chart, this one here, before pretty much the low. I only had one more single line left, but no really confluences, 51.4. Oh wait, I can remove the daily here now. Daily naked point of control. We hit that one. I heard today from who's the guy on Twitter again? There's something with Apple going on today. Apple earnings or whatever. How late's that? Does anyone know? I'm not following that type of news. Let me check here. Who said that again? Jose Rodriguez. September 9, Apple event about AI. Okay, so it wasn't earnings, just an Apple event. Okay. But so the news interesting day, no? And then you have Thursday and then you have Friday. So yeah. New iPhone coming out. No problem. I use Android anyway. Android versus iPhone battle coming in. Well, anyway, of course, the daily naked point of control here, that was an important area of resistance. But and we had range value area low. Let me have a look. That must be this one, I guess. Yeah, so we are now against hugging the value area low here. If you can pass the value area low, right, maybe hit the weekly naked and then but yeah. Next up, 59.5 is point of control. The iPhone 16, is that the new phone that's gonna cost like 5K? While it has the same functionalities as like an Android or $400. No, joking. We're joking now. Now, everyone has their preference. My wife has an iPhone. My dad has an iPhone. My mom has an iPhone. My brother has an iPhone. I'm not sure about my other brother actually. I don't know. I just always I never switched. I always stuck with what I know, I suppose. So yeah. Perhaps 2K. Wake me up when iPhone 19 has a cold wallet storage I will never use inside. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. I do like innovation, so I like to see what new stuff comes on the market. You know, I like innovation. Use those type of things. I mean, I never buy the newest phone. I just use a phone till it breaks, and then I eventually buy a new one. But I do like to see what kind of stuff they think about. With his Nokia, yeah, my Nokia 3310, yo. That's a nice one. Yeah. So, we've done the analysis. The probabilities are very clear, and also how probabilities change. We are hugging resistance. So yeah, of course we have the bullish CVDs building. So there's definitely potential to continue up here, and move above resistance would be step one. Hitting 56.5 would be step two. Take 57 is step three, and that's the final one. But as mentioned, the goal was to be online about like an hour because of all the other stuff that we're doing in the background as well, shown at the beginning. So, yo, Kim Yuan, how you doing, man? Crypto Guru Sim, imagine not having a great private group of people that work together without attention holding. And that's exactly what we do in our Discord, enjoying help of others and sharing thoughts, and hopefully all improve. So, but anyway, thanks everyone for being here. Trade safe, right? So you know what the probabilities are and how they change from an Elliott wave point of view. And I'm actually curious if I stop the stream and if price is then going to do something. But we'll see. Tonight is going to be another update. Gotta move. So thanks everyone. I'll catch you at the next one.